There we go.
All right. Welcome back, fellow TFFL owners, to your TFFL webcast. Before we go any further, Berto, will you text Bill,
Yes.
our live viewer?
Our live viewer. We are live.
We are live. We're live. We're out of practice. We're all probably a little loopy to some degree. And I don't have a lot of notes. So we'll see how this goes. But it should be a blockbuster webcast in that we have three huge topics to discuss. We're going to do hopefully a mock draft now that the NFL draft has come and gone. We have, we've been all looking at the TFFL archives. We'll dive into those. What an incredible evolution of that. And then the third thing we're going to do is a little bit of TFFL 2023 schedule reveal. I have just updated the 2023 schedule with all the machinations, I guess, that we have to do with this week 14. And there's this crazy grid that Michael Giovenco and Bill Thornburg created that I think I translated properly. And anyway, so I put in the new week 11 and moved back the weeks 11, 12, and 13 to 12, 13, and 14, and we now have our 14-week schedule, if that makes any sense at all. Bill is checking to make sure I didn't totally screw it up, and I have no idea why we do it, but apparently there's this grid for an extra week 11, which gets you a second, here's the tease, gets you a second a bonus game against a non-division opponent. And just one, and it rotates year to year who that non-division opponent is. Last year for the Aliens, we played the Sponge Fishermen twice. So we will be revealing that live. Don't go running and peeking at home who your extra out-of-division opponent is this year. And then you can all, after the webcast, please go take a look who you're playing the last couple weeks of the season, who you're playing in week one, when the Bro Bowl is, all those good things. Lots to talk about.
And that extra game was based on your record against. Is that?
No, it's not based on anything from last year. There's this grid where rotate. It ensures we rotate from year to year.
Gotcha. Okay.
So the fact that I brought up the fact that I played the Sponge Fishermen twice last year, which we'll double check this, should ensure I'm not playing the Sponge Fishermen twice this year or anytime soon. All right. So we got a lot to talk about. Let me get quickly to our panel intros here. As always, our IT director, czar, and CEO of the K-Wheels. Welcome, Hank.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here. Here we go.
Berto, High Command from Jack's Giant Killers. Welcome.
Yeah, it's been a while since
we've had
a webcast.
That is a Giant Killers t-shirt, right?
Yes. We broke this out.
Nice. And our special guest, again, the league should be very indebted, Rob. Tremendous effort on the modernization of the TFFL archives, released 4 days ago. Literally, a couple of years in the making, many hours of hard work. Rob really took it over for the stretch run to build all this after just the dump of data in there. It's incredible. Well done. Welcome, Rob.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to do.
Awesome.
Only a year, I think about a year and a half late, but
I was entering the data in spurts. Like I said, I think I was probably annoying Rob. I'm halfway done. I'm 60%. But I kind of figured once you had it all there and could see what you could do with it, you would.
You know what it was? It was Stick would periodically let me know these random things, and I was fooling around with it and wasn't making much progress. It was kind of frustrating. And then I don't know. It was like a month or so ago, 6 weeks ago. I think I got 47 emails from Stick in about 90 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's literally like entering record. All right, this is, I was like, all right, I need to really pay attention to this and start working on it. Stick's clearly dedicating a good portion of his life to this right now.
But then I got out of the way, and you everything that you can see is from Rob.
Well, I think Rob, you're a little addicted to this now, tweaking it, and right. This has become a little
I don't know if
lately.
you got. I don't know, like you get into Excel formulas, and then just like it becomes like an addiction, right?
Oh, yes.
For a couple hours. So there were lots of like 2 a.m. nights where I'm like, how the fuck do I calculate how many like the aliens winning percentage against the SoCo when they were the away team? Yeah, just like these insane calculations. But we were talking about this on email the other day, right? Chat GPT, believe me, I asked that thing like, and you can literally ask it like, all right, I'm the winning team, and like my division is this, and like give me that Excel calculation, we just go blah, 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 done. So there was a lot of
That's
that.
awesome.
Yeah, Matt and I were just talking about ChatGPT, but let me ask you this fast. Did you build something so like going forward and maintaining this, it's just a simple process, or is it have we got that?
I just need to type in the game results each week and everything will update.
Yeah, and there's that, obviously put the game results in, and then every like roll-up sheet, you're gonna have to like go the next year, you know what I mean? Because everything is based off of year.
Yep.
So there's like like 10 minutes worth of just like adding 2023, 2024 when we get to that point.
Yep.
And I also have it set up to not automatically recalculate because there's so much going on. It took me probably 15 minutes to calculate the other night. So
yeah, right.
It's big, but very close to being fully automated. Yes.
It's awesome. Great work.
Really good stuff.
And I will say, so for our listeners out there, like if you guys come across things that are wrong, definitely tell me and stick, because I have run across a couple things that are wrong, like the wrong division champ, or I copied in this team was the wild card when it was actually this team from this year. So definitely will run into some of that stuff. Just copy and paste there. Stick looks upset with me, but just let me know if you guys run into anything.
There are errors in Stick's data. There can't be errors in Stick's data.
It's not. It's definitely not Stick's data. It's me copying it wrong. I'm sure
there is. There are, I believe, about a dozen games back from like 97 and 98 where we know who the winning team is, but we don't know the final score. And that's my record keeping shortcomings of 25 years ago.
What I did in those cases was I took, instead of just making it 2-1, which kind of screws up all like
averages.
You had the lowest game score that season, right? Like not the team with the 3 1s, right? Mm-hmm. So what I did for that specific year, I took the average for the winner. I took the average of all the winning scores, and for the loser, I took the average of all the losing scores. And so, and that is one of the old Pack Bowls too. Is like that, right? I think
Senators Fever Pack Bowl.
I don't even remember that.
Hey Rob, one of the things we were talking about on an email or a text or something was the defunct teams, because the Fever and particularly the Fugitive Hogs hold a lot of
the records
things in there. Is there a way to make like an active and inactive list and just have it default to whoever has the next worst or best? Generally the worst.
Yes. That is definitely an anomaly. The Hogs and the Fever kind of screw stuff up. Stick and I had a conversation about this because I was like, I don't know, should the Killers and the were you guys the Hogs, Bert? Were you guys?
Berto was the Hog. The Hogs became the Killers.
Okay. So right? Should their like lifetime should that franchise like continue, right?
Yeah.
Same with the Fever and the Sponge, which would normalize some of those numbers, right?
What did we do with the stem cells? So that became I guess that's part of the
we just kept the stem cells and the Killers. Yeah, one and the same.
So we could roll them all up and combine them, or we could just remove the Hogs.
I don't want that stain.
We didn't do it. We didn't do it.
No, we didn't do it. We were talking
in there.
So to your point, Berto, yeah, that is definitely. I'm still working on it. Even before this call, I was trying to calculate, lifetime, record, your record against the SoCo, your record against the NoCo, that type of stuff. Yeah. So it's still ongoing, but that is.
I was the Hogs. The Fever was the Sponge. Yeah,
the Sponge. So Is it fair to have Chief own Freddie's records?
No, it isn't, and he doesn't.
But as a franchise, in the NFL, it would be. They sell the team. You don't lose the previous owner's records.
I think the same. I think that I'm with Phil.
I mean, the part of it is are you looking at the franchise or are you looking at the owner? And if you want to look at the owner, well, then that's a different thing. But if you're looking at the franchise,
that's a different sheet.
Nah, different.
Right,
Just
all right.
Hey,
make a little inactive active chart. Making them active.
We'll get back into the archives later. Let's but in honor of the updated archives, I have TFFL trivia for you all. In honor of the new TFFL archives, I have 2 TFFL trivia questions for you. And I think let's just get the answers out pretty quickly here. I'm not going to hold them up for the end of the show. Let me start with the simple one. We'll get one out of the way before I botch the second one. And again, in honor of the TFFL archives, I've got a Mongols trivia question for you all. And the answer is not the Mongols. Or else I would have screwed this up already. The Mongols, as you can see in the archives, please don't go look at it right this instant, really started out exceptionally strong for what back then was an expansion franchise. Not one of the original 6, I believe, or 8. But the Mongols were in the Pac Bowl against the K-Wheels back in '97 and made the playoffs a bunch in their first 10 years. In the last 15 years, though, the Mongols have fallen on hard times despite winning their one Pac Bowl. How many times have the Mongols made the playoffs in the last 15 years?
In the past 15 years.
I'll give you 5 points if you can nail it on the mark, and I'll give you 3 points if you can be within 1 of the mark, 1 point within 2 of the mark. See if I can remember all that. How many times in the last 15 years have the Mongols made the playoffs? What do you got?
Oh, we're doing it.
Yeah. There's no need to think on this one. All right. You all overshot it. The answer is 2.
Wow.
I didn't want to go lower.
So 3 points, I guess, to Hank and Rob. Well done.
You're doing your own trivia scoring, yes?
Nobody's keeping
score. Okay, good.
If we need it, it's all recorded. If we need to go back and audit it, it's here.
Can we have Chat GPT just do that for us?
The Webcast archives.
Webcast, have it just archive everything.
All right. This next question, I was trying to come up with something where there was just no way you could, no matter how much you studied the archives, would be able to do this unless you really wanted to break out a calculator like I did and do your own separate math. How do I want to phrase this? What I'm looking for are so what I did is I ranked every team by the average number of playoff games that they would play every time they qualified for the playoffs. How deep you go on average every time you qualify for the playoffs.
So progressing in the playoffs more important than frequency of making the playoffs.
Average number of games per playoffs.
What about teams who bye equal a game? What about a bye? What about a bye?
I'm actually looking for. Seeing the buys are going to screw. I knew I would screw this up. Doesn't matter. I'm asking it anyway. Number of playoff games played on average per time you qualify for the playoffs. In other words, do you go far in the playoffs or do you get kicked out?
But the answer is a team, right?
I'm looking for a team with the highest average.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for the team with the lowest average.
Oh, and lowest.
Who goes home early and who on average generally makes it through to the end? Sorry, I knew that was not going to work out real well. But I think we understand it. Tell me when you're ready.
I had to work around that bye calculation several times in some of my sheets.
Okay.
All right, who do we have? The Hogs never made the playoffs, by the way.
Oh, so that's right for him.
I did see that.
Which lets me bring up another interesting point real quick on the archives, which is that the Fever really weren't that bad. They made the playoffs 3 out of 7 years. Mm-hmm. Made it to a Pac Bowl It's about as much as we can say for the Aliens, for crying out loud. But no, the Hogs never made the playoffs. The team that plays the most playoff games on average when they make is the Giant Killers.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought there'd be too much years where they were out because they've been in it the most.
I was qualifying this though as per time you make the playoffs.
Yep.
So the Giant Killers have won a lot of titles, and have not made the playoffs actually a reasonable number.
Well, and who's the team that has made the playoffs but not won their conference, right? So no buys. They would have that's probably the Giant Killers because the AMPAC were winning those no-co titles, and the Wheels and the Fats like randomly, but Birdo was winning the championships.
I know right away, and you know this, Rob. The Aliens make the playoffs a ton, win the division a ton, one conference title and one bye in 26 years. So the Aliens fit that description perfectly. We are not
one bye in 26 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. That helps explain the no pack bowls, but a lot of playoff appearances, a lot of division titles. It's not wild cards. No conference title. That's thanks to the AMPAC and the Giant and the K-Wheels. All three of you guys tend to.
Before I forget, because I won't remember this, but I think there's a crazy stat. I think the team that's made the playoffs the most, obviously, is the AMPAC.
I think I know where you're going. Yeah.
So who are the next three teams that have they're tied for the highest number of playoff appearances?
The Beavers, the Devils, and the Killers.
You got one right.
Senator.
One.
I was going to say Senators,
Aliens,
Devils,
and
Aliens.
Wow.
Senators,
second
Aliens,
most playoff appearances.
The Senators, the Aliens, and the Devils.
Yep.
And one conference title among all those playoff.
Yeah.
A lot of wild cards in there.
All right. So the team that tends to go home early. Who did we all say that was?
K-Wheels.
You picked on yourself there. Berto picked on the K-Wheels, right? And the Hogs. All right. The answer is actually the K-Wheels. I was surprised. I thought it might be the Aliens. The K-Wheels on average play 1.43 playoff games every time they qualify.
And the K-Wheels have the lowest.
Do we factor in the bye with that? Because
no, I don't. So you're winning more conference titles than I am. I'm getting bounced in the wild card round more often.
See,
and
I'm not gonna wear that mantra of being the worst in that as any shame because I didn't have to. Maybe just had to play as many playoff games.
Go look. Have you looked at the playoff sheets? Because
no, I have not.
You are by far the worst playoff team.
Oh,
in games you play, right? I think
you
have
when I'm in there,
lowest
I
winning
lose
percentage
in playoffs.
The Aliens
in the playoffs. Period.
I played the AMPAC and the Killers.
The AMPAC have a losing record too.
It's tough to have a winning record in the playoffs.
The AMPAC have
under
played
500.
so many games. They play a ton.
All right, let's get into our roundtable chat. We'll come back to the archives as part of this, but let's switch things up real quick. We have our special guest Rob. We are going to again keep talking about the archives, but not here for just a moment. Let's talk about the Boba Fats. We don't often get a chance to do that. Let me just ask you, how are you feeling right now? I think the big news that you still don't really know the answer to is Javonte Williams' health.
But didn't I just read something where he's Sean Payton said he's going to be ready for camp or something like that? So
it was an upbeat, yeah.
Or no, they weren't putting him on the PUP list.
That's the plan.
Yeah. So I mean, he was the one guy I was worried about, right? That I was like, what the fuck am I going to do? So yeah, that makes me feel good. I'm pretty happy with my keepers.
Yeah.
I think I got my last keeper spot. There's a couple of guys that I could go one way or the other, but I think I know what I'm going to do, barring any craziness in camps or anything. But I'm feeling pretty good. Good young team, right?
Yeah,
definitely.
Garrett Wilson, T. Higgins.
Yep. Why not?
And Devontae Smith had a great bounce back year last year. I couldn't quite put it all together last year because Herbert didn't have a great year. And obviously some running back issues, but we'll see. We shall see.
Yeah, Herbert actually had
what's your No, I was just going to say, Kelsey, how is that sitting with you right now? Are you happy? I mean, you love him back, but where's your head at?
I mean, I was trying to sell high, right? I mean, what did Kelsey turn 34 last year, something like that? You don't know what's going to happen next year. I'm happy with the trade. I have zero regrets. Zero regrets. I thought I got it back a fair price for him. I mean, Rich got, I think Rich paid a lot for him.
Kudos to Bill. I know Bill's watching, but kudos to Bill for making that move too.
Yeah,
because he had.
that was a good deal for Bill.
Mm-hmm.
And Bill will have a good team. He's got a solid squad. Plus his draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, yeah.
Hey, lot of good looking rosters at this time of year. Everybody, a lot of them. Everybody's got potential coming out the ears.
Except one. One I think is just terrible.
Who's are you hating?
I'm not gonna. I can't say.
You're not gonna say it out loud.
Is it the one where
is the one
you
where
guys tell me what you think the worst is?
Is it the one where I didn't have 7 keepers projected?
See, but there's some meat on that one.
Here, I think the Sens are in trouble. But
there you go. There's a
I think the Senators are also in trouble. I think Kyler Murray is a big question mark. I think Kamara is trending down, but his receivers are interesting, not top end interesting, but interesting. A lot of question marks for the Senators.
I think it's a foregone conclusion.
I text him that every day.
Yeah. Foregone conclusion that Kyler Murray is not going to be ready for week 1. I may be overstating this, but I think it's a foregone conclusion that Alvin Kamara is going to get suspended this season at some point. Mm-hmm. Those are 2 big losses on a team that doesn't have a lot of stars besides those 2 guys, and they're going to miss some time.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they are.
Is that who you were thinking of?
Arizona could have.
I think so.
I think the Packers do not have a solid keeper list.
Interesting. They got 3 Vikings, which I think is. I'm a Vikings fan. That's too much Vikings. Is Tua anything more than an average QB? I mean, he's the 10th best quarterback.
Tyreek Hill's great.
Yep, great.
But other than him,
yep.
Who can you count on in that lineup?
Yeah. I guess Thielen isn't with Minnesota. I made that mistake. He's only got 2 Vikings. He's got.
Well, he's not a keeper.
He's got listed as keeper. Maybe
Stick has him as a keeper.
Yeah.
Zeke's not a keeper.
You can keep Ezekiel Elliott instead.
Is Juju a keeper?
That's what he's on the list.
Go. The AMPAC are a suddenly very, very old team.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Juju really isn't that old.
No.
Do I have him? I believe he's a keeper for the AMPAC.
Yeah, you have him on the list.
A reliable guy. Is he a number 2 wide receiver in this league?
He's the number 3 receiver for the AMPAC.
Yeah. Right.
I've got him keeping both Dalvin Cook and Alexander Madison, which becomes a problem at some point if the Vikings don't move on. Rob, go ahead. Come on, we're on the webcast. This is what we do.
Yeah, that's who it is. That's who it
Okay.
is. That's who I
I'm
think.
sorry.
I've been looking at people's keepers and stuff, and I'm always like, is Ralph really going to keep this guy? Is Ralph really going to keep Thielen? Like, he's not going to keep. So
keep who? Yeah.
Right. Anyways, yeah.
Maybe there's an argument for keeping Zeke Elliott if Zeke re-signs in Dallas and if Tony Pollard is out the first 3 weeks or something. But yeah, I don't have Zeke as a keeper right now.
Yeah, there's some interesting keeper guys out here.
Yeah, and it's way early. Things will change, obviously. I will dare say the team that I have question marks about, and you can all see this. This is what we're looking at is the projected keeper lists that I've got in the TFFL essential document. The franchise that I have a question about is the Mongols. I've got Darren Waller, I think, on their keeper list, which doesn't feel right to me. And I still have a blank spot in their number 7 spot. Is that Jeff Walton?
I was
Berto,
going to say, I've never seen a spot to keep.
Berto, you're choppy.
Is it still
you got to reboot your router.
Reboot your router. Sorry, I spilled water all over everything. This is the problem with smoking too much weed before we get online. You move things around, you knock things over.
Are there sparks flying?
No, just some wet papers and general mess. We lost Berto again. Is he?
He's having lagging.
He's having some issues.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see about Berto. All right. So let me ask you then, Rob. Have you looked around our division? Do you feel like you're a favorite in our division? Do you feel confident?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
The Boba Fett's are the favorite to win the NOCO West for sure.
All right.
How do you feel about that, Stick? Do you feel like you're the favorite in the NOCO West?
Yeah, I'm curious how you feel about the aliens.
All right, so let me back into this a little bit because I've put you all on the spot. I'll tell you some of the other teams I have some questions about. I mentioned the Mongols, the Lizards in our division. I'm going to back into the question about our division. The Lizards, I think, a little bit like the AMPAC, are an aging team. I'm projecting them not keeping a quarterback. Dak Prescott maybe not kept. The Kelsey trade means they're not keeping one of those running backs, James Conner or James Cook. Joe Mixon could get released by Cincinnati anytime in the next 3 months and find himself, battling for carries somewhere else. If he keeps James Conner, James Conner is at this point getting way too old for his body. James Cook is, probably never going to be a full-time guy. Damian Harris is probably going to get the goal line carries up there. Josh Allen's going to get the goal line carry. Michael Thomas, Deontay Johnson. These are all guys I think that are not studs or are declining or injury prone.
You're talking yourself right into a division title. I see it.
So anyway, Rich is going to get really pissed. Especially without it, if he doesn't keep Prescott, there's so many things he's got to go find in the draft.
I think he will keep Prescott because so many of the other guys are questionable guys. They're like James Conner and who else did you mention? James Conner, James Cook, Joe Mixon. None of those guys are like you have to keep them. They're all good guys. He's going to keep Prescott because chasing a quarterback is tough, and I think he likes Dak Prescott. Yeah, I mean, I think from the outside of your division perspective, Fats has to be the favorite, and Stick will probably be your closest competition. It really depends on Trevor and how he develops. And
but you know what? Just to comment on the Lizards,
they
have a team that also, like on the flip side, can score a lot of points. Could score a lot of points this year. Like that. Those guys are still on that team, and they're all starters.
Here's let me finish. Again, I'm kind of stretching a little bit. The Lizards do have some good players, but Mike Evans is now in year 8 or 9 of his career, catching passes suddenly from Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask.
Right.
DeAndre Hopkins may get traded by Arizona to maybe a good situation.
That might be good.
Otherwise, he's catching passes from Colt McCoy or somebody like that for the first X number of weeks. And both Evans and Hopkins are, 30 plus years old now. This is an older team. I like the Fats to answer the question. Yeah, the Fats I think are the favorite. I like this Aliens team. We need some running backs, and there's no getting around that. That's a big weakness. But the Fats don't have any more running backs than I do, unless Javonte Williams really is 100% healthy. He's got Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, but I also got a tight end.
Yeah.
Dallas Goedert doesn't scare me.
Dallas Goedert is a tight end. Is he top 5 tight ends? No.
I've got T.J. Hawkinson if we want to have mediocre.
Yeah, I think Dallas Goedert and T.J. Hawkinson are equivalent.
I'm not going to keep Hawkinson.
I think you should based on your current keeper list.
The problem is he can't start at running back. So he's not.
Why?
You have to start 2 running backs.
Right. Oh, you say yeah.
I still need a second running back. He does not solve the
that
second.
Doesn't solve that problem. I mean, you need players who can score points.
Yeah. You like him better than Kadarius Toney?
Yes, a lot better.
Okay.
But
how much are you going to be counting on Calvin Ridley?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not here's what I'm hoping for with the receivers is I've got Jamison Williams, who's obviously suspended for 6 weeks, but has massive upside. I've got Kadarius Toney, who, yes, Kelsey is the number 1 pass catcher there, but Toney is going to be the number 1 wide receiver. He's got immense upside.
Isn't Juju still there?
No, Juju's now in New England. They didn't.
Yeah, he signed with the Pats.
They did draft Rashee Rice, I think is the name. But yeah. Tony's going to get touches.
Right. Then maybe he is the right guy.
We'll see. I've got talent at that position. Ridley's another guy. I don't quite know what I've got. Mm-hmm. He's super talented. I'm going to be okay at receiver. At running back, I need more than Tony Pollard.
Mm-hmm. So does that mean the Aliens could package something to get a running back?
I don't think anybody's got running backs. It's in part because of the way the NFL has gone. There just aren't a lot of great running backs out there, and Berto's the guy who would love to be able to trade a second or third, DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams, but he's not going to take a package of receivers for that. He wants, he's going to want draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
how many Kareem Hunt text messages have you been getting from Kramer then?
Don't plant, oddly, not a one. Don't plant that seed. I can't tell if Berto is frozen. Yes.
I think he's got movement, but it's jerky and,
Better?
I don't know.
Now?
Berto, man.
I don't know. I don't think so.
This is like talking to the space station mirror.
Hello.
Hello. I'm speaking to you from 20,000 leagues under the sea.
All right. Okay. Let's get. We have 3 big topics. Let's get to one of them here. Where do you guys want to start? TFFL schedule or mock draft?
Schedule.
Wait, do we have to participate in a mock draft?
No, you don't.
Oh, good. I'm totally unprepared for that. So yes, go ahead. You dictate the mock draft to us. And then we'll wait for the schedule reveal until our audience gets back, until Berto gets back.
All right. So I'm going to dictate the mock draft to you guys, and you can do some quick reactions. This is, of course, May 17th or whatever day I said it was.
Yes.
Lots still to change. But here's what I see as of right now. Number 1 overall pick to the Dirt Devils is going to be Bijan Robinson, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
No surprises there. I don't anticipate.
No, that's given.
Number 2, I think, is somewhat of a given to the Senators. Jahmyr Gibbs.
Jahmyr Gibbs. Yep. It's not Jahmyr. It's Jahmyr.
Jahmyr. I'll get my pronunciations.
Jahmyr Gibbs. Alabama.
Trey Sermon.
Yeah.
Steel City Mongols are number 3. This is a team that certainly would love a running back at this spot. I think they have to take the best talent available. And to me, I've got that as Jackson Smith and Jigba.
The receiver from Seattle that is in Seattle now.
Yep. Best long-term talent.
Okay.
If he doesn't go 3, I think he's going 4 to the Beavers. At number 4, though, to the Beavers, I have them taking from the Minnesota Vikings, Jordan Addison.
Wow, number
The-
4 pick for Jordan Addison. That's rich.
There's not a lot of running backs
No.
beyond those top 2 who are going to make an impact right away. The Beavers are a win now team.
Mhm.
The Beavers are the one TFFL franchise truly stacked at running back with 4
good
guys
ones.
who get lots of touches. They're looking for a receiver here. I think they're going to have to let go of some talented receivers at the keeper deadline. And so I think it's either a veteran, like they either go and reclaim Chris Godwin, or they take a guy like Jordan Addison, or what's the other rookie option? Why am I blanking?
No.
Anyway, so and you know this, Hank. Addison's Thielen is gone. Addison's the number.
He's going to get a ton of looks. He's got every opportunity to be a superstar. I mean, this year. So
he and Jefferson, could be a big duo right away.
Yeah.
And now here's the thing. Here's why I tie Addison to Bill at number 4. Addison, you may recall, started his college career at the University of Pittsburgh.
Yes, he did.
Thornburg should be very familiar with him, not just as a college fan in general, but probably has seen Addison up close.
Believe me, he's got highlight reels of Jordan Addison on his computer saved. Don't even
on his phone that he took
I don't
himself.
believe you.
Yeah. So Addison at number 4 to the Beavers. Number 5 to the AMPAC. Again, this is the TFFL's oldest keeper list. I've got them taking, I'm probably going to mispronounce this, Devin Achane.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Arcane. Yeah, whatever. I don't know.
Rookie in Miami. The issue there is that the AMPAC have Tua at quarterback. They have Tyreek Hill at receiver. Do you add rookie D. Achane? Too many Dolphins. I'm not sure that's a problem given how good that offense seems right now. And these are all fast guys. I think that could be a fun trio to have. Number 6, Boba Fats. I'm assuming no trades as of now. So I've got you taking DeAndre Swift if the Giant Killers are unable to trade him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't need to really explain that too much. You still need a running back, as we've talked about.
He's a good one. Yeah.
You're an Eagles fan. Number 7, Sponge Fisherman. So rarely in the first round these days, but the Sponge Fishermen have a first round pick. I've got them taking Zach Charbonnet. I really have to learn how to pronounce all these names. Rookie running back up in Seattle now, competing for touches to some degree with Kenneth Walker. Number 8, the K-Wheels. What are you looking for, Hank?
I'm looking for somebody who can help me win. I don't care what position. I don't care where.
I just saw a very upbeat blurb on Antonio Gibson.
Yes.
Who I
He
don't
may be
have.
the 7th keeper for the K-Wheels. I don't know.
Yeah, because I'm not reading such good things about Cortland Sutton. I think Antonio Gibson could be your keeper, which could give you some flexibility here in the first. But I do have you taking a running back, Kendre Miller.
Okay.
In New Orleans.
Great. I'll learn about him. I know nothing about this man. But that's good.
TCU product.
My nieces are about to start school there.
There you go.
I mean, it's meant to be.
Kamara is going to get suspended. I think you're going to like what you read up on him.
Excellent. Write it down.
All right. The Horned Frogs, right?
Yep. Horned Frogs.
Nice.
And they do some stupid thing with their knuckles where they go like this or something. My nieces were trying to explain it to me. I do have a TCU football shirt now, which I will wear only sparingly.
Well, it depends what happens with Kendre Miller.
Depends. Hey,
you could
see how he is.
All right, number 9 is it's a shame Berto's having his issues. But,
well, here comes he's trying. It just says his devices is not connected. I'm trying to let him in, but it says I can't because it says they will need to connect their mic cam before you can add them to the stream, and they're not connected.
He's using some weird device. Got it. Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing. I mean,
all right. Well, so let's go on. Number 9, Jack's Giant Killers. This is a very talented keeper list. he's going to be, as we said, trying to trade some excess running back talent. I've got him taking a receiver here, actually, the best value, somebody like Deontay Johnson, who I don't believe the Lizards are going to be able to keep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Number 10, Boba Fats again. I had you taking DeAndre Swift earlier. Still leaning running back, you think? 2 first-round picks, running back with both?
Probably not with both.
Really? Okay. I do have you taking 2 running backs here. But
Okay.
I had James Conner here if indeed the Lizards don't keep him.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you've got a good team. You may be the favorite in our division.
So you just backed up the Fats running back core with DeAndre Swift and James Conner?
Yeah.
You can't hate that, Fats. One of those guys could be your 3rd running back each week.
Don't.
Okay, there you go.
Right?
I thought that sounded like, suddenly you've got a running back core.
No.
Yeah.
The aliens are at number 11, as we've talked about. I desperately need running backs. I think again, if the Giant Killers aren't allowed to make a trade before this mock, Jamal Williams in theory is sitting out there. That's a guy that can start for me as a number 2 running back.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to score 16 touchdowns or whatever again, but again, with Kamara potentially getting suspended, Jamal Williams in New Orleans competing with your man Kendre Miller, not a bad play. I have not gotten to the folks who are not in the first round yet. I'll follow up with that on email, but that is your first round in the TFFL draft.
Well done.
If I counted that right, I think it's 7 rookies, a little bit less than in recent years. It's not a great rookie class.
No, I was thinking that too as you're watching where the players are getting drafted. And who knows? I'm sure there'll be training camp stories, and I'm sure a couple more running backs will, by opportunity, start rising up there. But it's not a marquee rookie class except for Bijan Robinson.
Oh, did I miss a pick? Did I miss the Hams there at the end? I think. Hold on.
Yeah, you did.
I think I had them taking got another name I may not. Ty Spears, the rookie running back in Tennessee, I believe was the last.
Okay. Say who was it?
Ty Spears.
Yep.
Backing up your man Derrick Henry, and let's be honest, Derrick Henry's shelf life is
any day now, right?
Yeah. And you hope it's after 2 more good years.
I would love that. That'd be great.
Yeah. I think more realistically, he may be gone from Tennessee after this year.
Maybe.
And Spears,
he's not that expensive yet, though, is he? I think he's still under like a reasonable contract. I don't know.
We'll have to look. My sense is he's got 1 year left in Tennessee, and he may still have something left in the tank where he goes somewhere else. But they may be rebuilding. The rumor was that they were trying to trade him.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. So there's our mock draft. I'll have many more of them later on as we learn more through June mini camps, training camps. Really, there aren't that many holdouts anymore.
No, it's all slotted now because the rookies can't hold out. So.
And frankly, I think the NFL has gotten better the last couple of years about preseason injuries. Actually, with a lot of guys simply just not playing, a shorter schedule, guys just not playing in many preseason games. But there's always the risk of injuries that'll shake up our keeper lists and shake up the draft, and so many more mock drafts to come. I don't think Berto's getting back in.
No, I'm trading text with Berto. He has a new laptop. Things were good until the last couple of days with it, but it could be the Wi-Fi. But the Wi-Fi seems strong. For some reason his new laptop is taking the blame for the issue.
All right. So we've got about 15 minutes left. Let's start with the TFFL schedule reveal, and then we can geek over the archives for a few final minutes.
All right.
Let me see if I can present my screen. Do you think I can?
I don't know. Give it a shot.
I'm going to hit the present button, share screen.
Hit it.
Let's see. I don't need tips. I need this. Share.
Oh, wait. Okay. Yeah, good. I got to add this to the stream. Okay, there it is. Okay. You're driving?
All right. Nice. Yes. Good. I can no longer see myself, but
Oh, you can't. Well, we can see you.
I can't scroll through this without. Anyway, that doesn't matter. I'll use the force. This will be fine. Shout at me if something goes wrong. So what you are looking at, folks, is the 2023 TFFL schedule. This is actually very exciting to maybe a few of us. Literally in the last week, I got pinged by TFFL website folks here at CBS Fantasy to renew. I know there's always a little chatter about moving on. I elected to renew and save $50 or whatever, and just keep, to me, it's really not that broken. And there was not an uprising early enough to look at other options. We're going back to these guys again next year. I have renewed. And as such, our 2023 TFFL schedule has been generated. As I mentioned briefly early in the webcast, I will not belabor this too much. I then had to go in, and I did this literally minutes before we went on air here. I had to manually adjust slotting in this new week 14 per the rules, the grid that Bill and Michael Giovenco created that ensures you get a second non-divisional game against every other non-divisional opponent once every 9 years or whatever it is. So I slotted in that extra game in week 11, and then I moved back the existing weeks 11, 12, and 13, which now become weeks 12, 13, and 14. And we've got our 14-week schedule. Go right ahead and dive into that whenever you want. But on air here, let's go. You can now see this full schedule?
Oh, yes.
All right.
Full schedule, yep.
All right. So this is, you can see up here, 2023, full schedule. Obviously you can jump to any team schedule. But let's go to the full schedule. And I'm going to scroll down. I have not looked at this. I obviously input it, but forgot it already. So this is fresh for me as of an hour ago. Here's our week 11 schedule. This is going to reveal, again, your bonus game against a non-divisional opponent. You'll play this team twice in 2023. The Dirt Devils get an extra game against the Giant Killers. The Mongols, extra game against the Ampac. K-Wheels, you're getting an extra game against the Beavers.
That's not a good one for me.
That's a big matchup there in week 11, your second game against them.
Yeah.
Bill's saying the same thing at home. He's not thrilled about that.
He doesn't want to play me either. I understand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Rob, you're getting the defending champion, Hormel Hams. You're probably not super thrilled about that. You get 2 games against the defending champs.
You want to be the best, you got to beat the best, right?
Got to beat them.
So to puff up the aliens a little bit, the Boba Fatts will have 2 games this year against the defending champ Hams, and 2 games obviously against the Pac Bowl runner-up aliens.
Yep. We're gonna need a sheet for that in the archives.
That'll be a new record. Speaking of the Pac Bowl runner-up aliens, they play the Senators twice this year. And lastly here, it is the Lizards getting 2 games against the Sponge Fishermen.
Okay.
Let me just scroll down really briefly. We can look at week 14. This is the final week of the regular season. Aliens, Giant Killers, big game. K-Wheels, Ampac.
Could be.
Yep. And Fats, Lizards. Obviously, all these games could be big. But there you go, guys.
All right.
Let's stop sharing. Stop sharing. There we go.
There you go.
All right.
Thornburg has already texted in to tell me that he is in 100% agreement that he is not at all happy with how these dice fell, and I agree with him. So redo it. Redraft the ping pong balls or something.
Again, it rotates, so it's going to happen sooner or later. I had an extra game last year again against the Sponge Fishermen, who were the defending champs at the time. I wasn't thrilled with it. Chief's probably not watching, so I don't mind reminding folks that we beat the Sponge a total of 3 times last year, including the playoffs. If I recall. You
don't mind reminding us that? That's not something you're afraid to share.
Nope, not at all.
That's very big of you.
Yeah. What I'm telling you guys, don't worry about it. Go, new year, go beat these guys. All right, real quick. I know you guys actually scribbled some down. Other archive observations to wrap us up.
I'll give you mine quick because I'm sure Fats has more thoughtful ones than I do because he's been spending so much time with this. The first thing I was going to say, and we mentioned it several times, is we got to figure out a way to filter out the hogs. They have too many of the worst, least records of stuff just because they haven't been. So Fats, work on that active, inactive flag or whatever you think the best way to do it is. That would be good. It's the record books seem to be are dominated by the killers, the AMPAC in terms of their relative dominance. But the Fats have the best winning streak and best overall season wins. So that sort of caught my eye that the while over history there's the Packers and the Killers have lost crow about. But if you look at it, in a snapshot, the Fats have done rather well. And in that same vein, I was really surprised to see that the 2020 version of the K-Wheels had a great scoring output, which was I don't remember that, and that was fairly recently. So yeah.
Rob, what do you?
You added another thing.
Can you guys see the archives on the screen?
Now I pulled it up.
Yeah. Good. So here's the 20 must have been the 2021 K-Wheels. Maybe you're talking about. Yeah.
Whatever was in the record books. It said I had the largest margin of victory. There was one of the records. Mm-hmm.
So I just want to make sure because we heard this from one person. There are a ton of tabs down here, by the way. It's easy just to kind of get lost in the record book in the first tab.
No. You got to keep going right. It gets
dig
good.
Deep. No, I know. I've been in it. I've been down this rabbit hole already.
Yeah. So this is the K-Wheels lifetime year by year. Yeah. 2021, you had a high scoring year.
Mm-hmm.
You've had several big seasons in the last.
I actually was not as disappointed. I thought I was going to come off really worse than it came off, which is helpful. I've had some good years fairly recently, I guess. Yeah, 11, 10 wins.
Click into that lifetime playoff record tab, and you'll see, and then go look at the K-Wheels.
Yeah, how bad is it? 35%. Ouch.
I mean, look at that compared to Stick. Yeah, it's filter those by lowest.
Yep, there. Me and Stick, we got to do better in the playoffs, man.
Yeah. I know. Rob, go ahead. What do you have?
You kind of alluded to this earlier, but one of the stats that I found that I was thinking about was with the Aliens that you are tied with the Fever, both with the least conference championships, right?
That sounds right. Like I said, I think I've got one. Yeah.
And the Fever have one.
Yep. There you go. I love the data visualization here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm fooling around with that. And
I'm surprised. So wait, you and me, Fats, we all and the Killers, we only have how many? Do we have 5?
5.
Yeah,
that's surprising to me.
No co-championships. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel better about things.
The Giovenco brothers have the most in each conference.
Mm-hmm.
I believe an interesting thing that I spotted with the Hams. I don't know, Rob, what the best way to look at this. The Hams, I think, have the fewest wild card spots. Do we have a wild card tab? They win the conference or they win their division, but and so they get a fair amount of buys too. But yeah, they never come in as a wild card. And I think the Senators are the other way around. They let's see
go to the playoff tab. Well, there's that. That's overall appearances. Yep. This is one of the stats that I said earlier, right? Aliens, is that Devils? I can't see it.
Aliens, Senators, and Devils. And then the K-Wheels are right there, Hank.
Yep.
I'm
okay with that.
Who's the modern team with the lowest? The Mongols, right?
Yep. Like I said, 2 playoff appearances in the last 15 years for that franchise, right?
Only 8. Only 8 ever.
Out of 26 seasons. Yeah. But they have a title.
They do.
Let me show you something. Go ahead, Rob. What else do you have?
So here's a stat that I was looking at because this is one of the things I'm working on now is that the SoCo versus NoCo battle every year, right?
Yep.
The SoCo, we've done 26 seasons. The SoCo have only beaten the NoCo 8 times.
That's like dominance paperwork.
8 years that the SoCo's had a winning record against the NoCo.
18-8. Wow. Wow. That's
So does that equate? That should equate to dinners and Myrtle, right?
it
we
should.
track that? Do we have some?
Have we
entering those
tracked that
stats, Stick?
Dinners plural.
Dinner, yes.
Well,
right, we can actually we'll know that because we have the Party Bowl.
Listen,
results.
we can know everything now. Fast, look what you created here.
Yeah, I am transcribing this via GPT.
Yeah, we still need to. I think Bill sent me a few more. I'll dig in and see if I can fill in some people. We don't have all the Party Bowl results, but.
And speaking of Bill, I had a good stat about the Beavers here. Let me find it.
All right, go for it.
I think it was, if you look at, what was it? Oh, I was looking at total wins versus any conference. Hang on, let me find it.
Tell me what
tab. Played 340 TFFL games.
These are regular season results here. Yep.
That's outstanding work, gentlemen.
All right. So while Rob is looking for this,
let me find it. Yeah.
While I've got this tab up, and while Phil is pointing out how many games we've played, here's the important thing. I hope everybody takes away. Well, first off, this is not the important thing, but Ralph is number one and actually has a pretty sizable lead in lifetime regular season winning percentage.
Whatever.
Yep.
Who cares?
Then we've got our two, newer teams, the Giant Killers and Sponge. The Giant Killers kind of in a tier of their own at number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I really want to point out. Look at this. Really from, let's call it the Dirt Devils down to the Beavers. It's easy.
Do it from the Aliens to the Beavers.
If you want to drag it from the Aliens, I'll do that. Sure. You got a 13. It's a 13 game difference.
Yeah.
I was trying to do 8 games. It felt like 8 games
out of 340. That's.
Well, I'm just saying in one season, I think 8 games is actually not an unreasonable thing to dream of overtaking.
No, it's not.
So, it's easy. You could look at this as the K-Wheels and go, oh, shit, I'm only ahead of the Beavers and the Mongols. I'm in 10th,
Mm-hmm.
But the K-Wheels are a good team right now. You should go have a good season. You could jump, 5 spots in 1 year alone.
Let's hope so.
Yep. The Beavers, same thing. The Beavers are down here in, 11th place in lifetime winning percentage among the 12 modern teams. The Beavers have a really good team this year. They can make a big jump in these standings in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
It would be interesting to track this over time to see if it has been jumping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I mean, it's sort of amazing that the delta between the whatever it is, what we just say, the third
11 and 3, really.
The third through the 11th teams, it's shockingly close. Over 340 games.
Yep.
That's good.
Yep. All right, Rob, what did you want me to look up?
No, I was another thing I was looking was when I said lifetime versus conferences, and the Packers are the only team that have 100 wins against a conference.
Wow.
Against the Northern Conference?
Against I think it's against the NoCo, yep. And
because he dominated our division for a decade.
The next closest team is I think 10 wins behind, right? Like low 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an interesting, who will be the next team to have like 9 or 10 wins against any division or any conference to get over 100 and join Ralph, right? That could be 2-3 years.
Ralph, given how his roster is aging, as we talked about, and given the inattentiveness of Ralph in recent years, is the next decade going to bring Ralph back to the pack?
Let's look at what Ralph got Ralph set up to begin with, and the same with the Dirt Devils, and it's a story. It's having those top draft picks and getting LaDainian Tomlinson or getting Priest Holmes or getting guys that help them dominate. Now Ralph had some years where his team was really good, but I feel like so often it's because he was able to suck so bad that he got really good players for several years, like Zeke and Cook and Fournette and whatever. But I don't remember my point. Whatever. Ralph's team is overhyped, but he's been good over the years. And I have to give it to him.
They haven't.
Ralph won a bunch of championships in the mid-aughts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then got bad. He got mediocre,
really bad.
right? When Berto
got really bad. Yeah.
Really bad, yeah.
Well, he got mediocre when Berto started winning his championships, right? Ralph was always making the playoffs, right? He might win a game, but Berto was winning the titles.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then boom, he got really bad, and then he got really good again. But he hasn't. When's the last time Ralph won a championship? 12.
It's been a while now, but but he's in the swoon. I mean, he's very good at topping out and bottoming out, and he's in the process of bottoming out probably right now.
But he did not win a title during this window, and I think that window is now closed on him.
Oh, the Zeke Cook Fournette window is closed.
And yes, he was good for many years during this stretch. Who's the other? He had Melvin Gordon the first couple of years of Melvin Gordon's career.
Russell Wilson for a good part of it.
Yeah, this has been a very Keenan Allen at the height of his career. This has been a good team that never won the title during this window, and I think that window is now closed.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see whether Ralph can do what needs to be done to rebuild the franchise anytime soon. But I think,
he'll bottom out. That's what he does. He bottoms out and roars again.
We'll see. Yeah, because he got, I think Melvin Gordon was number 1 overall, number 2 overall.
One or two.
He was 2.
Okay, yeah. Fournette was number 1 overall. Dalvin Cook, I think, was the one he was kind of fortunate to get it like number 5 overall. In a weirdly great year. Zeke Elliott was number 1 overall. He really did kind of bottom out there for
he had Fournette and Elliott as like back-to-back year number 1 overalls, and
then Melvin Gordon number 2. I think 3 straight years you got those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, Ralph had. I mean, he had like a 1 in 12 season.
Really,
yeah. He has the record for most losses and most wins in a given season, right?
Real quick, the other team, Ralph has the most wins against any conference, and I was just wanted to take it back to the Beavers. They have the least. They're the only team that has never won, that hasn't yet won 70 games against a conference, any conference.
They have not won 70 against the North?
They have not. They're 69 and 86 against the NOCO, and they are 91 and 88 against the SoCo. So they have, they haven't won 70 games against any conference. They have only 69 wins against the NOCO.
Mm-hmm.
But even there's no one else against the SoCo that has less than 72 wins. So,
all right,
we can go down this rabbit hole forever.
I know. In fact, it's outstanding what you created.
Nice job.
Well done. Great, and I'm glad to hear you've set it up so that it's hopefully easier to feed and keep up to date.
Oh yeah,
great.
We're adding in draft picks now, first round draft picks over the years. I've got almost all of the first rounds.
I might be able to help you if you're missing.
I figure we can crowdsource a few. I hope we can fill them all in.
Yep.
So we'll do that, and then I think I can piece together keepers for many of the seasons.
I can help
which
with
will be
that
nice
too.
to see. And I'm sure Rob is doing a million other innovations too.
Well, I think once we get the data set, and you guys see, like, the problem is, and just looking at your screen stick, like, you have a bunch of errors, and that's just because the Excel, the desktop version, there's just a few weird things that don't work quite right in like and there's a chain reaction because all these sheets are tied together. So that's the kind of stuff I'm trying to figure out how to solve.
So can we get Chat GPT to orchestrate our Excel conversion to a database that we can then build a front end app on top of? Smithers has gone down this incredible rabbit hole where he's having Chat GPT write all of his code for him So I figure, let's get you and Smithers on this, and we can have Chat GPT just keeping the archives together in no time.
Chat GPT will not do it. But there are things out there that will, like Auto GPT could potentially do that. But yeah, the TFFL data sciences team is definitely looking into this.
Hey, it's doing great work. The innovations coming out of the lab are top notch.
The Idea Lab is in full motion.
Excellent.
Innovations Bakery is the term I prefer.
Excellent. I'll be in the bakery.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right, this has been great. I think we covered all of our ground. We did a mock draft. We did the schedule. Go stare at your own schedule now. But we covered the.
And I think I did really well in trivia. If we get the recap, make sure you're scoring that.
Yeah, sure. Mongols two playoff appearances in the last 15 years.
The Mongols have my favorite stat of all these archives is that Mongols versus Sponge stat.
Oh yeah.
What is it?
18 to 3 or something.
If you look at head-to-head matchups over the years, everyone's played at least everyone else 19 times, right? The Sponge have played the fewest. The Mongols have only beaten the Sponge 3 times in the entirety of the TFFL.
Wow. That's
their career 158 winning percentage. I mean, and it's not even close of who the next one is. Actually, the next one is the Wheels. Actually,
versus who?
The Hams.
The Hams.
I can't beat them.
Nope. You are. What are you? 6-20 against the Hams lifetime.
Ooh, that's brutal.
6-20.
Let's get on a streak.
No, are they 20? Yeah. Yep, I'm reading that wrong. All right.
Yeah, no, hey, look, the K-Wheels have had far too many years of being terrible. So, and this exercise underscores that.
And then not too far behind is the Aliens and the Sponge. The Aliens do not beat the Sponge.
That's right.
Anyways, we could keep going forever.
I know. Fats, you've done great work here. Thank you from all of us. Well done.
Yeah, we'll keep it going.
Yeah,
My pleasure.
All right. So good luck to Javonte Williams.
Yes.
Good luck to Antonio Gibson.
Yes.
Good luck to everybody out there in your with your players who are facing suspensions or camp battles or what have you. We'll be back at some point, presumably maybe during training camp. We've got a rules discussion upcoming probably in 6 weeks or so. We'll do that in early July once we're all starting to think a little bit more about the upcoming season. We'll be back at some point. We'll have more mock drafts along the way. In the meantime,
how many days until the draft?
That I believe that is on the website. I believe
you have a calendar flipper that you don't have something on your wall.
I think
47 days, whatever it is.
Let's go to the league homepage. I believe I set that up when I renewed the league.
It's probably about 100 days.
114 days. I hate to break your heart. That sounds long.
Oh,
yeah.
It does sound like a long time.
That does.
All right. I'll let you know when it's under 100.
Okay.
But yeah, good luck to everybody. May your players stay safe and healthy. Use the quality time over the next few months before we come back on the webcast to dive into the archives, tell Rob whatever innovations you have in mind. Like I said, I'll keep entering draft data and keeper data. There will be some holes, and we will turn to the league to crowdsource all that. But yeah, we're lots of exciting stuff going on in the TFFL, even in the off season.
Is the end goal real quick before we end? Is the end goal of the draft results to literally get every pick from every draft?
I don't know if that is my end goal.
I can go back to like 06, I think. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot. I'm sure, right?
I can go back to 99 with full drafts. It's just a matter of how much I really want to data enter it all. And
this is doesn't need to be done by next Tuesday. I'm talking like in a year, right? Like we're having this next summer. Can we start analyzing? Would I have all the data we can analyze? Like which team takes the most quarterbacks?
It will
compared
happen.
to
It'll happen.
having a keeper. Like what's the average? Okay, so that's the end goal there.
All
so
things are knowable.
What I'm starting with is just the first round from every year, or the
Right.
team's first overall pick, wherever that falls, and then I guarantee you, I'll go back and I'll do the rest of it. So.
Okay. Good.
Good night, gentlemen.
Good night.
See you guys.
Thank you all.
All right. I'm
Happy
signing
holidays.
off of the TFFL. Be well.
See you.
All right.